our baseball expert, the take no offense baseball expert. So I wanted to give you a chance to open up the discussion about Pete Rose, legendary, controversial baseball player who died at the age of 83. I think most people know the story about his great career, the gambling, all-time hits king, not in the Hall of Fame. What are your thoughts as a baseball man on the passing of Pete Rose?
You say that. I asked my wife if she knew who Pete Rose was, and she had no idea. It kind of made me a little sad. It talked about the fall of baseball in our culture. That's for damn sure. But I think probably most people know who Pete Rose is, and you gave the introduction. I think this is important from the perspective of you and Charlie talk about having two thoughts in your head at the same time. So on the one hand, Pete Rose was one of the greatest baseball players ever, would obviously be a Hall of Famer if he wasn't banned. He was awesome. But on the other side, and I know he just died yesterday, and you're supposed to like let the body get cold. Dude, he is a humongous piece of shit. Like, I'm talking to a level like just so unlikable. I mean, alleged pedophile, obviously an admitted gambler. I told my wife when describing him, he's like every stereotypical jock that you've ever seen in like a bad movie. Like, he's not very smart. He's overtly misogynistic,
Yeah.
like with the hun and the toots and the whole thing. And just every interview he's ever been in, anything he's ever done or touched, I want to say he's a huge piece of dog shit. And that's it.
I think that's a fair take. Look, but a hell of a player, and the way that he was a little bit before my time, because he retired or was about to retire right when I first started to get into baseball. But from seeing I mean, Charlie Hustle, that was his nickname. The way that he played,
I
the
said
way he
one
went after
hand
it. Yeah, exactly. It's so incredible. But you're right. You're right about, and he was given a chance, wasn't he, to
many times,
repent? And
many
he was given a
times,
chance to come back and be in baseball's good graces,
but he
and
couldn't do it.
he couldn't do it. And look, in terms of the Hall of Fame, I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. The same way I think people who use steroids should be in the Hall of Fame. But I think they were absolutely right to ban him from the game for life. I think that should be separate from the Hall of Fame. But I think that you can't have players or managers, even at that time, gambling on games. I mean, that's just you. It's a cardinal rule of sports for obvious reasons.
Listen,
The
he could
credibility of the
have.
outcomes is the most important thing.
I know hindsight is 2020, but when he was caught, if he would have just said, "Look, I have a problem. Like,
Yes.
I'm an addicted gambler. I gamble on horses. I'll gamble on anything. I'll bet you right now." People would have had sympathy
Yes.
for him, even at that time in the late 80s. But even again, he's just, and I know we're going to talk about Mr. McMahon lately. He's the stone cold Steve Austin of human beings. It's just always double middle fingers, like kicking him in the dick. Like,
Yeah.
he never in his whole life. I mean, he never said, "Look, I have a real issue." He looked at it and was like, "Wait, I don't have a problem. There's nothing wrong with me. Like,
Right.
I'm
He didn't
fine
take
the way I
accountability.
am." And I'm not just talking about the gambling. I'm talking about the everything of Pete Rose, which is why I was so aggressive at the beginning. He's a deplorable human being.
Yeah, there's certainly
Deplorable.
no humility
No.
whatsoever. In many ways he was ahead of his time in
Yeah.
that regard. But I think what's funny is I think you and I, because I view him generally the same way you do. I think we are in the vast minority. I think most people
Well,
who
that's
like
why I'm saying it the
baseball,
way I am, because I
yeah,
agree with you.
I think they love Pete Rose, and I think for some of the same reasons we don't like him in general, or didn't like him. He was pretty much I won't say he was universally beloved, but he was a beloved
He was
figure in
beloved.
baseball.
He was, and he should have been, because again, I go back to the first hand, which he was a tremendous player. He could play almost every position on the field. Obviously he wasn't a pitcher and a catcher, but you can put him anywhere on defense. He was an on-base machine.
Yeah,
But talk about his selfishness. He hung on to break that record selfishly at the cost of the Cincinnati Reds. He was a shell of his former self, but selfishly, he wanted to break that record for himself and be the hits king. To me, these are unlikable qualities, in general, but I guess I get it because I said it the way I did because I agree with you. We are in the minority. I'm on social media. I'm in a lot of baseball groups. I follow the sport. The love that came out for this man. And here's the thing. I'm saying it on our podcast, but I'm not going to get into arguments with people on Facebook. It's just it's not worth it. If you liked
Really?
him,
What are you
great,
talking about?
fine, like whatever. I don't want to stir the pot because I knew I was going to have the opportunity to come on here and really let it off my chest because I just I don't know. He's not redeemable at all.
Yeah. No, I don't think so either.